The match will start soon. One warm-up round, chat will be off during the race. If you have problems, please chat during warm-up. Do not leave until after map switch. So, gonna open up my Twitch app as well. And we can start. So here we go, a new edition of the well-known SCL, the biggest canyon competition that we have so far. There are not so many team competitions anymore with 3 versus 3 or solo competitions, but this Endurance Cup here, which is also played in a team. Basically every team consists of 4 players, and 2 of those 4 players will always play each map. But of course you try for yourself and try to get a good result. And yeah, we have plenty of teams signed up for this year's SCL, which is really great to see. Also some old names coming back like Greenius and LMB Willy for EXD. We see them here also in the checkpoints. They are back. And yeah, a little rule change. We have now more teams in the Premier League, 10 teams, which means we have 20 drivers now participating, which is of course really great. And then we are pretty sure to see some battles at some point of the race, especially as the Premier League always was known to have very close battles. So this is not a group stage. The objective in the group stage is to score good points and get into the top 5 teams, because then you get the qualification automatically for the GrandFinals. And the bottom 5 teams, they have to play out in another qualification match to secure their spot also in the Grand Final against the teams in the Open League that we will see later. So here we start on the track Dodo Gama by Zengo, one of the top maps in this league. And following Meep in the beginning, he's of course the biggest favorite here to win. Also his team especially, because he is pairing up with Cloud, and those two are also already here together in the lead with some others. Meep going a bit wider, so he lost some positions, but he has a bit more exit speed. However, Quentin actually passed him. So did that work that we can automatically go to someone else? No, but we see Cloud with the first mistake. Gets a slowdown. Cloud, a really fast player, but sometimes doing mistakes. We saw that also last year, but he can also have some really good races. Suiram now taking over the lead. Let's go a bit further behind. Let's go to LMB Willy. An old teammate by myself, and there is the first jinx of the day. The first caster's curse. Going to spectate him, and instant he crashes. Very unlucky. He's now on 17th place after 2 laps with only 1.4 seconds distance to first. So you see he, with a crash, lost 7/10 per lap in average, and that is already slow enough to be only on that position. And then you see the level that we have here in the SCL, in the Premier League. Also his teammate Greenius is not too good at the moment. It's right beside him. They are fighting with Chinimini. And in front of them, Manu from the Smurfen team, one of the Smurfen teams, and also Createman. So let's go to my teammate, Lars. I'm in a team with Demise. Lars and me paired up with 2 Demise players, with Voyager and Suiram, so a team with 2 Mariuses. Lars is now playing today this map. We will see only one map, and I believe. And after that one map we will see then another map coming up, which the Open League will play. So Lars has quite a huge gap now to the players in front of him. This was not the best entrance into the slide, so he loses quite some exit speed, and you see how much time that actually makes out. He actually loses here quite a bunch of time to John Boy, who overtakes him and is now on the 7th position. And yeah, but the gap is definitely there between 6th and 7th. Even though Maddox just lost a bit the contact to Coco, that is in front of him. 2 Smurfen players, but not in the same team. We see it in the name tag, Smurfen 1 and Smurfen 2. I'm not sure if I missed something, if it should be here, the live rankings. That's maybe something I have to find out in the break then in between. Because a live ranking would be of course very useful in order to find out if there are fights somewhere, and I'm pretty sure that something like that existed last year. Now I basically have to see with the free cam or with tab, but that's of course a bit more difficult. So let's make a first idea with a free cam. Let's place it somewhere here. So we see Meep in front, then Quentin and Cloud super close, Suiram, Coco, Maddox, Vince, Lars, and then we actually see Greenius. He's not too far behind Lars. So we saw Greenius and LMB Willy, they were pretty far behind. But now Greenius actually is only 1 place short of Lars. So Greenius, with probably some better laps, made some kind of comeback. But now Rex with a lot of speed also closes into Lars, but only due to his inside line. He does not have the best exit speed right there and is back in the fight with Greenius. Ah, okay, Haxe. So Quentin secures here the 3rd local record with a time of 107.5. This is of course a very good time, which means that he makes some pressure in front, and we see him here battling with Cloud still for the 2nd place. Meep got some lead now to the other 2 players. We saw Cloud had this little mistake in the beginning. Of course, the big favorite is this team here, AMP with Meep and Cloud. But in the end, only the grand final matters. Now they just secure points and they might take first. But in the grand final, everyone is no-lived. And if you then make one tiny mistake, a tiny mistake, then it can cost you so many positions, even after driving 24 laps. It can really steal your chances of winning the league, but of course they have 2 drivers that can take the big points for, that you get for a win on the map, and so the chance for them to win is really high. It's basically the 2 best Canyon drivers, and then they pair up together. This is just what they do. But of course there are a few teams that can challenge them. One of them is Quentin. If he drives together with Not, they have the chance. We see that Quentin can follow. He's of course also one of the greatest Canyon drivers, and Suiram. And those 4 are exactly the 4 players that are in front. So the favorites are performing at the moment. The drivers that you would expect in front are there. And then the best of the rest basically goes to Coco. And that's interesting. That's a bit surprising to me, but I didn't follow the Canyon scene too much. Don't play the Smurf Cups and don't really see how people evolve. I know that Coco was a player with potential, but he's doing a very good job here on 5th place, following the others. And we can also have a look maybe at the local records on the right side, because who else is having very good records here? And then we see, for example, that Greenius has the 5th local record, so he's really trained, he's really motivated coming back to the game. That's nice to see. And then we see the team Bro with Eric and Hajin. And then we see also Suiram, and Coco is already on 8th place, so he's also well trained. Maddox is very well trained. Yeah, player that you know more from Valley, but of course he also plays some Canyon and he is pretty decent on it as well. And he shows that, he proves that here as well. Also did that in the qualification. We had a time attack qualification where these 10 teams qualified themselves for the Premier League. And there were some gaps then in the teams that were a bit further behind. time-wise, but the top 7-8 teams, they are quite close together and we can expect a lot of good battles here. This map seems to be quite easy because we don't see many crashes, and at the moment we see here that all the people have a similar distance to each other, as if slipstream wasn't allowed as in the triathlon, where you are not allowed to slipstream in the bicycle part, and then everyone takes some room between each other. I actually watched that yesterday and found out that this rule exists. And this race here looks like a little bit similar. We see that Maddox went pretty far, and Lars with a nice slide will overtake him. Maddox has a bit more exit speed though, and Lars taking this more inside means that Maddox will have the more inside exit. Gets also a little two-wheeler, which gives him even more momentum inside, and then he gets past Lars because Lars a bit wide there. And yeah, but both players doing well on 6th and 7th place. So far we have Cloud and Meep of course doing good for their team, and we have a new local records here. Quentin and Suiram both improve. Suiram now up to 5th. Yeah, and then we have Lars of course with the 7th place and Suiram with 4th place. This is of course also a pretty good position so far. Lars here with a beautiful part will overtake Maddox back due to this line. Of course this is an interesting fight. I don't think any one of those two wants to lose against the other one. Might be a little bit special fight here, so quite interesting to see how this will turn out. So then let's have a look, because I miss those guys here. Hutchin, he has a pretty good local as well, 7th place, but so far a bit further behind here, only on 10th position. Hutchin and Eric are definitely well known for being super fast players in Canyon, but not so consistent. And this is exactly what I just wanted to say, and then we see that he went way too far inside, had no chance to avoid this mistake. And yeah, now you see how much low speed he does have, and this is basically impossible to catch up. If you make those mistakes on such an easy map, then you can't really come back from that. And this is what we see here. He's losing a lot, and there comes his teammate Eric, and they are definitely the big surprises in a negative way so far. Definitely absolutely underperforming if you compare their local times with their race performance and positions. On 13th and 15th, and Hutchin, when you make one mistake, then it's really tough to get into it again, and wow. This was a crucial mistake, and he will be not happy that I was actually with my camera on him while he made that. Because that's of course, I have 20 drivers to spectate and I exactly get that one that makes this mistake. But yeah, unlucky there, he definitely lost now his focus. The race is of course over for him. He now has a huge gap to the next player in front, and without crashes by other players he can't do anything there. And yeah, this is of course the negative thing. We see in front of LMP Willy that his teammate is fighting with Dex. I don't know really this driver here, Dex. He's for the first time I think driving into SCL and doing a great job in his first race here. Also Queenius and LMP Willy, after having not the best start, but they were time-wise not really far behind, they now drive quite okay, even though that was close for Queenius. He almost crashed, so I stopped a bit with talking how I thought he might completely crash out there, but he survived. Of course, when you go so far outside, the grass can give you oversteers, and that can ruin your chances, of course. But yeah, Queenius stays ahead of Dex. And we can have a look again, how close is this fight. We see that Quentin sometimes improves his local record, of course still a bit behind Cloud and Meep. But overall, he must have made a little mistake, so he lost some time onto Cloud. Meep still ahead with a nice lead, and yeah, now lap number 12, and when this lap is over, we have done half of the race. And we see Quentin improving another time, the 3rd local, and he's really close to Meep's time now. And then you just see, regarding this, what an incredibly pace they have. I mean, just have a look. Quentin drives third local and he can't come closer, so they drive this as well. And there is just yeah, distance from first local to third local of 800s, and they drive 800s consistently in multiple rounds. Quentin here behind the record, and he's not even first or second with this. And this just shows how insane the level is in Canyon. Imagine such tight times close to the daddy, so consistent in Stadium. You won't see that. Of course, in Canyon it might be a little bit easier, but still, this is a really good performance by all these three people. And hence, they already got a good lead here to Suiram, even though 4.6 seconds behind Meep is also a good performance. When you see how good Meep is driving and that he didn't do a single mistake yet, and what times Meep is doing there. It will be interesting to find out his average time. But yeah, Meep is definitely performing there so far. And so is Coco, who is still only a second behind Suiram, still following there. You see Lars has overtaken Maddox, but it's still a close fight between both players. I think this fight could go on the whole race. They have a very similar pace and both are usually driving consistent. We see that Maddox has a different trajectory for this turn. He always seems to win, or I was just unlucky and spectated those two in the 2 laps where Lars didn't drive the corner all too well. But both times I watched, Maddox won 2 to 3 tenths onto Lars in this corner and overtook him as well with that. And then Lars has himself the corners where he can perform better. Like this switch here, he also got it very good in the other round, but this time Maddox can stay in front, and Lars going a bit wide, has to steer more at the exit, so he doesn't really get more exit speed out of the wide line. Here, no auto slide for Lars, has to use the brake button, but saved it quite nicely. But yeah, a little bit shaky lap here. Here he goes now for a completely different line with the inside. Maddox going outside, has more exit speed. It's pretty even. This is also interesting in Canyon. You can drive 2 completely different lines and you have the same ending, like the same time. And yeah, Lars seems to have this different line. He of course also goes for a bit more exit speed here, also now up the hill. But overall, Maddox seems to win a tiny bit. I mean, this time it's not too much, but Maddox is a little bit further ahead. We see that Lars just drove a 108.0 and is 4/10 behind his personal best of this race. So which would be a 107.668. This is local, so that's probably what he drove. And yeah, this is 4/10 behind me. And this is what he probably loses then most of the time. Onto the leader, and this is why after 15 laps he has already 10 seconds disadvantage. So he loses even a bit more on average, 2/3 of a second. Oh, Lars has to slide there. Now he just overtook Maddox, but this will ruin him again, and now Maddox has a bigger lead, so this might be now a bit tougher for Lars to come back. So, do we have some fights? Let's go with the Freecam. Because we see now that the players are here approaching. Meep has a huge lead now actually, then Cloud and Quentin still close, Suiram and Coco still not so far behind Suiram. Then the fight with Maddox and Lars. Now we have, compared to the start of the race, some gaps. Queenius and Eric with a comeback, now on 8th. Then we have Dex and LMB Willy, so now the other one fighting. John Boy, then Lachens, Createman and Shinny Mini, those two together. And also Rex. And then comes Hachin, who is pretty far behind. And yeah, here in the back we also see Rasta coming in. And if we Are we 20 drivers actually? Seems like we are not 20 drivers. Hachin is on 17th, and we see that Manu is very far behind Rasta as well. So Manu must have made big mistakes. And then there is one player missing. So one team is competing only with one driver. I have the idea it might be Quentin's teammate, but I'm not sure because it was called Resor's teammate. Yeah, probably it's Quentin's teammate. Often they have this problem that Nod has no time to play, and now they of course need Quentin to get good points there, because his points alone will not be enough for very good position, of course, against teams that score with 2 players, but Quentin is on a good position overall, so this is a good chance. We see Meep improving his time, and he is now for only 5 thousandths behind Cloud's local record, so Meep is probably going for that, hunting that, while driving consistent without mistakes. And meanwhile, we go ahead, lap 17 out of 24, to the battle between Cloud and Quentin for second place. This is high level battle right here. Quentin with the overtake, but both super close together, and it's still just lap 18 now. So the race, yeah, takes some time. We are now 19 minutes within the race. Of course, the lap time is 1 minute 07, so 7 seconds over a minute, which means the race time in total will be far over 24 minutes as well. But we will find out what it will be in the end. Then, of course, also want to compare it with the Open League. Where would the winner of the Open League, when they play this map in another week, where would the winner of the Open League place if he would have played in this match here? In the Open League, the biggest favorites are AD Racing, because they didn't qualify for this race here, even though they should belong into the Premier League, so they will probably, even with not so much train, dominate in the Open League. And they could be possible that they have a pace that would be on a decent position here in the race as well. So Quentin doing very good so far. He increased his gap to Cloud in the previous lap. And yeah, but what is increasing? I mean, this is just 2500s between both players, but it feels like so much that Cloud is not able to get it back from his own. It feels like Quentin needs to make a mistake so that Cloud has a chance to reach him. And this is really a weird feeling, because Cloud is just 500s behind his personal match best time, and he can't come closer. So this just shows the... Wow, this just shows the performance by Quentin, and we see Cloud now trying to get closer, makes the mistake at the snap, and is out of the fight for P2. So Quentin might be able to split the team AMP of Meep and Cloud and get the second place, which is crucial if he's really playing alone for his team. So Suiram, however, cannot really take advantage so far from Cloud's mistake. Cloud would need to make another mistake for Suiram to catch up. It was tight for Suiram, but he survived. All under control. Coco still keeping up, really doing great so far. It's in the Smurf Team 1, so let's have a look at the teams here. We see Smurf Team 1 would then the second players be Larens. Larens is only on 13. Then we have Maddox on 7th, and his teammate is the last player, so this is not too great. So Maddox is a bit alone there for his team, but good that he at least scores good points at the moment. Let's go ahead here. We have again this fight. I told it that this will be a fight until the end. Side by side, inside each other. Amazing. Maddox, because of the inside line into the multi-lap, 2 thousandths ahead of Lars. But if it was the last lap, then Lars would have been a tiny bit ahead. And I'm not sure if we have 24 lap races all the time, or if it will be changed to 20 in the finals. I of course like it longer, but in the finals we played in 3 maps in a row. That's the difference. So, Lars now with the overtake onto Maddox. Let's see, Eric made up to 8th place, while his teammate Hutchin is still on 17th. But he, no, he's not coming closer to someone else. Then we have EXD with a solid performance on 9th and 10th. So you wanna get into the top 5 teams, and with this they will be probably in the top 5, but it will be still close, so they don't really get a distance to other teams. There are multiple teams fighting for it, as it seems to be right now. And Cloud improving the first local record after Meep must have had the second local, missing Cloud's previous local by just 1,000. And this just shows how consistent they are. This is just a fight for a few thousands that they can drive consistent, a bit faster and a bit slower, but we speak here not of a few tenths faster and slower. It is just a few thousands every lap. So Canyon seems to be really easy for them. Incredible, but Meep will probably try to come back from that. Try to beat Cloud back, but not on this lap. Here he is a bit further behind, but he has a lead of 3.6 seconds, so if he doesn't make a big mistake, then he will take the victory. But I guess he will still risk a lot. He will not drive Marius 5 safe now and just take home. You see, he can win on his PB here in the end. So in his match PB, he basically failed the first local record in the end. This was not too great. Okay, this actually looked like a safe drift, if you can say safe to that. But he oversteered a little bit. He also didn't even do the snap that much. But even if he saves, it is just 1500s behind his time. And this feels like nothing. I mean, you can't really catch up to that. And he is with that still faster than most of the other players. Free last lap for him. And Hutchin has left the server. Quentin here with a slide, so that was not too great. I'm not sure if that is an auto slide that you can get there. But yeah. Meep now going into the very last lap. So let's go quickly through it. Quentin 2nd, Cloud on 3rd, Suiram 4th, Coco on 5th. And then we have Lars. He is on 6th, followed by Maddox, and Lars has a good lead now. So he has 4/10 to play with. And Eric, I thought he's close. I heard his engine sound, but he's not so close. So Greenius and LMB Willy, they don't even need to attack each other. And they are both in front of Dex now. And then we have John Boy. He is no really battle right now. So we can go ahead to Meep again. The closest battle is still Lars and Maddox, but there is some gap between both players. We can have a look mid-lap how the current standing is between those two. But Meep, we wanna see of course how he will go into the finish line. And I mean, this is like the almost perfect race. I think he would have liked to get the first local as well, and the basically match best time in order to see it himself as the perfect match. But I mean, the overall time that he sets after 24 laps is so insane. So insane. Quentin will take 2nd, so let's have a look. Lars seems to get it. Oh, Eric actually came super close. Eric! Oh my god, this is not enough. Oh, he goes super inside. This is 3,000. 3,000. Because Maddox didn't go inside. Did Maddox know that this is the last lap? He almost got sniped because of that. Holy shit, that was tight. That was tight. Ah, Eric must have had a super last lap. There he shows how fast he actually is. He was so far behind. And Maddox and Lars, I think they drove a similar lap time to their average. But Eric won so much on Maddox there. So good comeback by Eric, definitely. Good comeback. He was far down in the beginning and managed to still get 8, but of course this is still overall not the position that he wants, where he belongs to with his speed. But this is, when you have such an easy map, one mistake can really knock you out. Even though this is 24 laps, you can't come back from that because people are not making big mistakes on such a map. Not many people actually make mistakes. Gigi, I pressed respawn, lost 9 sec first lap. Yeah, nice. With 9 secs faster, he would have been in front of Suiram on 4th position. So this is what he lost. Yeah, he just showed how good he was. But it also shows, I mean, the times by the drivers, how close they are together. Yes, I will also cast the OpenLeague. So the OpenLeague will start in 13 minutes at 20:45. So let's see, live rankings will be on the next round. They should have been on, sorry for the inconvenience. So not completely sure if next round means the next Playday, or does it mean this match? Probably next Playday, if I understand that correct. Probably needs to set up on the server. But yeah, this is now the first race where we can see already a little bit the performance of some drivers, of some teams, who can be expect to be one of the favorites in the end. Ah, here we have a Godspeed player, but probably there were 2 teams, huh, from Godspeed, I guess. So yeah, OpenLeague now will drive on a different map. And they will come they will come back to the map that the Premier League drove in another week. So now it's just a little bit of warm up. The Premier League players will leave the server and the OpenLeague players will join the server. And also the OpenLeague does have quite some teams, so we can actually have a look, because there is now some time. Can have a look at the teams that play the league. So, also, let's start with a qualification, because that was the first thing that happened. And in the qualification, we saw the team Amplified with Meep and Cloud being the winners, oh surprise. And we see also that those 2 drivers were just 13 thousandths apart from each other. And far ahead of everyone else. And yeah, together as a team, they were 3.4 seconds in front of the second team, which is Eric and Hutchin. Broken wrists, and they of course with their positions did not do so well as you would expect, but we saw the reason for Eric touching his respawn button. Hachin, however, of course, with a lot of mistakes, and then even left the server. This is, of course, not so good for their points, but they have a lot of maps still where they can make it better and get into the top 5. Then we have Demise. That is my team with Suiram and Lars, and also Voyagers in our team. And Godspeed with Quentin, and then didn't even play the qualification. Instead it was Rezo, and here just Rez. And you see that he has a 3 seconds gap to Quentin, while Not, of course, is also one of the absolute top players. He is actually the one that can beat Meep, and Not Quentin together. This is a team that can beat Amplified, even if Amplified does not make mistakes. They can do it. We just saw that Quentin was able to beat Cloud, but of course it really needs such a really good performance how Quentin was just performing. Yeah, then Smurfennet 1 was the 5th best team, and as I said, the top 5 teams in the group stage, they will qualify instantly for the grand final. And yeah, in the qualifications, Smurfennet 1 was the 5th team here with Larens and Coco, and yeah, we saw why, because Coco was really doing well here. And we also see that the gaps are not really huge. He just had 3.4 to 4.8 seconds, so despite having a gap of 3.4 seconds between the first 2 teams, then afterwards it is pretty tight from 2nd to 5th. And also 6th to 8th were pretty close together in the qualification, with EXD coming back, LMB Willy and Greenius playing here. There are also 2 other players in it. I think it was Yummy and Matze, yeah. So really cool to see. Then we have Maddox and Mixu for Smurfennet 2. Kupferrose with Vince and Shonboy. Vince did not play. We just had Shonboy and Ginny Mini, and I think Vince is someone that he plays a lot of this High Boys Endurance Cup, and he's doing quite well there usually, pretty consistent. So not sure why he wasn't playing this time, but maybe he can place good up in the top 8 or something when he plays, and can also produce some good points for his team. So they are definitely also a team that can reach the top 5. Exotus with Rex and Yogo on 9th, also qualified, and then Dex and Rasta Bobby also qualified. Yeah, and then shortly out, and now we will see in the Open League, is then the team Something with Butter, with Mattiford and Hacker doing the qualification for this team. They also have Benzo and Vendetta, and this is of course a team with players that are definitely good enough for the Premier League. Same goes with AD Racing, Fatkid and Sneaky. Probably didn't drive the qualification maps too much. We see also a huge gap here. The 11th team was quite close to the 10th, but then there's a gap of 5 seconds. So yeah, this was just due to no train, I guess. So they will just, I guess, win now in the Open League, pretty sure. Then we have Godspeed 2, CN with Jolty Sonic and Cube, my loyal viewer here, and then of course Twisted Eagles. And yeah, I really like to see Sora driving again. Twisted Eagles, a legendary team coming out from Trackmania United, and is always participating in this Canyon Cup with a lot of players that are a bit older, but really cool to see. It's the first time that I see Gimple. Usually we have Wolf and Icanix, and they are also, yeah, again in the team, but there was also then another one instead of Gimple earlier. Just don't get who it was. Yeah, then Sora is of course someone that can win races, because he is pretty good in endurance. And if Twisted Eagles wants to get into the top 5, they also need Sora to make the big points. But it's definitely possible, because they are in the qualification already the 5th best team of the Open League. And then we have Phoebe Smurfen playing, and Kuso for Smurfennet 4, and Smurfennet 3 is also there with 7 and Melissa. Then we see Jean Björn with Zenop and S. So we have also some girls now driving, which is really cool to see. And Smurfen at 5, so Smurfen with 5 teams here with Schwyz and Raziel. Let me check. Yeah, Opik and not too shaky. And then we have the RPG, Retarded Players Gang. So RPG players, kind of, with Table, Nikus, and then of course Levon and Mitriani. Here I'm actually interested if they participate, because you see what kind of time stage wolf, especially Nikus, and they were then dead last year. Really would like to know if they will play and if they will play the whole league. Because Table is someone that at some point says, no, I'm not doing anymore. But of course there are 4, so could still be 2 others. So then, yeah, we saw now the teams and can go back into the server. I see live rankings. Beautiful. But I can't click now on it. This does not work. But I know at least the gaps there. That's good. So it seems like now the OpenLeague will play on a map by Meep, Frozen in Time. And quite side note. No, I don't say it. So, hello Maddox. So Maddox Lars, I spectated your battle for quite a while. I said already in lap 7 or 8 that this fight will probably go till the end, and I was right. Was a nice back and forth. There was one turn where Lars drove a line that was a bit slower. I saw Maddox in 2 laps overtaking. But there were also parts where Lars of course caught up again. It was interesting. It was really cool. So you can rewatch it in the VOD. Yes, I streamed the Premier League as well. As I was working today, I was just arriving and eating something. I was just finished with eating like 5 minutes before. I had to set up my PC and everything and just joined in time. It was quite tough to make it, but... The best run of your life, Dex. Yeah, I saw you fighting there with some players and was positively surprised by your performance. Also the performance by Coco on 5th place. I didn't expect that, it was really good. So yeah, what is your bet? Who will take the victory in the Open League? Which player will take first place in this race? You can of course see the local records on the right side. And what I didn't know is that Shadow Skugako is actually driving. Also in this Open League, he is of course absolutely OP. But maybe he is going kind of low trained into it. More for the fun of the game, for the matches. But he has the first local record, so he is definitely not too slow on this map. So it's 46 already, so we will start quite soon. And Sneaky shows us already here the map and the lines. And a new third local record as well. So this was actually a very good lap that we just spectated. So he's definitely warmed up, he is fit. And he's one of my favorites for the win. Okay, then he practiced a lot. It's difficult to say because the Premier League of course didn't really play this map all too much yet. So it's hard to judge how good these locals are in the end. Max is asking someone from the retarded players gang here. This is something I already expected a bit, that they are missing. But there is an RPG Cup right now that Ryulu casts, so I'm not sure if they are actually doing that at the moment and can't contend for the Canyon Cup because of that. Might be a reason. It's actually an interesting line through the corner there on the platform if you drive it like this. Shadow, Skugako, with a new improved first local record. So it will be interesting to see who will take the victory, but I think that Sneaky and Skugako are the two favorites now, seeing the warm up here. Beautiful snap there from Sneaky. Let's maybe go on Skugako for a while. He has 89 checkpoints, as I just recognized. Super close to the wall. So, live after the warm-up. We're gonna restart. Yeah, sometimes there is 400 ATP, but not always. If a stream guy is partnered, then you can always change and switch between resolutions. But I'm just affiliate, so as affiliate this is just an option that's sometimes there and sometimes not. I don't know when it is there, what it does need. So however, let's go into the OpenLeague match. On the map Frozen in Time by Meep, the winner of the race in the Premier League. And yeah, we saw this map now already a little bit in the warm-up. Quite fast-paced overall. Here's Socha. Of course, every league I have to mention his skins that he is doing for the league and for his team. I mean, this is just beautiful. And his models, of course. Really cool stuff by him. He also posted a picture in Discord. Looks very aggressive, that skin. Like he's on the attack. But yeah, let's go with Godspeed, Zips and a horn to start the race. So starting with this off-road section, which is already not so easy. You need to get a snap here. Then no slide into the left corner, up the GP. And now this very tight passage where we saw Sneaky's line, you wanna get a very tight corner around here, get far outside here and then go back into the apex for this off-road corner. And an easy slide at the wall right and through the tunnel, and here you see already that some people are just risking it a bit more than Zips. That's why he does not have the best exit speed compared to other players and loses a little bit of time. So now going into the next tunnel section. Drift to drift combination, always a bit tricky. Into the wall right, and then this is the first lap done. With the hairpin back to the first off-road section. This map is much shorter than the Premier League map. Only 51 seconds a lap. While the Premier League map was 1 minute 07. So this race, also 24 laps, will take not so much time though. Much shorter. Oh! Yeah. And then you can't even really turn around there, so this is the first big mistake that I saw on stream. And this will, yeah, throw him back a lot. So, I have to still make it with Tab here to switch between players. We see here Sora's teammate Gimpel, that I see now for the first time. He's doing decent on 13th place, just behind Cube from Team CN. And then we have in front of those two Schwitz for the Smurfen Team 5 and then also Setlouf. And this guy has a pretty good local record, 4th place, so he should have the speed in order to be far in front, but he is already over 5 seconds behind, so he must have made a mistake as well. We see that in the Open League the gaps quite quickly get quite large. So he has a big gap in front of him. Then we have a fight here between Door 7 and Jolty Sonic. So the next CN guy and another Smurfen guy from Smurfen Team 3. And we see also his teammate from Smurfen 3 in front in another fight. And that fight is between Mesa and Sora. So they are fighting for the 6th place in this race at the moment. Going through this off-road section. Mesa has the better angle, will take the inside line here and passes Sora for the moment. Here he does have a pretty safe approach. You see that he goes a bit wider, hence Sora will get him back, and also Sora has automatically the better line for the last apex there and will overtake Mesa back. Also here Sora with a little bit more risk. Lets the car slide out a little bit more, and this will give him more exit speed. Here in this downhill you have to watch out a bit. You can get too much on 2 wheels and get a slowdown if you drive the wrong line. And then here those drift to drift combinations always a bit tricky, and we see that Mesa gets some pressure from behind, and that is Jolty Sonic that is approaching and wants to say hello in this fight as well. Sora going a bit wide there, so he will be wide as well in this corner. So this is the corner where Sora now lost time in both laps. And this time Mesa makes this one better, so he stays in contact with Sora and Jolty Sonic even faster. And this was super close for Jolty Sonic, and then he even cancels his drift a bit early. Mesa with a crash, touches the wall. But Jolty Sonic is there and now attacks Sora. Nice combination there from the one drift to the other. Oh, he keeps the slide for a while at least over the transition. Felt like a little bit risky, but he did that quite nice and also created a big gap already to Sora. But his lines, Jolty Sonic's lines, look a little bit risky, so I'm not sure if he can hold that for all too long. We will find out. So let's go a bit further ahead. Who do we have in the front? We see that Hacker is on 5th place and super close to 3rd, which is his teammate Benzo. And in between them is Fatkit from AD Racing. So we see basically exactly what is to be expected. The 11th and 12th team that are definitely much better and could be easily playing in the Premier League. They are with all their drivers in the top 5, and then we have also Skugako in the very lead in front. So he already created a big gap to Sneaky. I thought it could be a bit closer between both because Sneaky seems to be quite consistent, but maybe he didn't have the best start into the race as he is already 3.4 seconds behind. That would be not possible with how he drove in the warm-up. Hacker loses a little bit of time. Fatkits, however, still stays close, and yeah, Sneaky must have made another mistake. 4.5 seconds to Skugako. So Sneaky was warmed up in the warm-up, but now feels maybe some pressure, I don't know. He definitely gets now the pressure from Benzo, as he lost some time in the slap. And then his teammate Fatkit is also behind. But of course, in the end, the important thing is the top 5 teams of this Open League, they will qualify for the qualification match, where they then could qualify for the Grand Final. So you need to get into the top 5, and of course for both teams it looks quite good here, as they have all their drivers in the top 5, and also Shadows or Skugako's team has great chances because the first place gets quite good points, and alone with these first places, alone with his points, he will bring his team basically into top 5. If he can consistently win each week, his team will be also qualified. And doesn't matter too much where the second driver is. But who is the second driver? Let's find out. JB. Maybe someone can help me with that. Because I don't know it right now. I can't say. Or is he alone? I think he's not alone, because we have 18 players and there's just one team missing. So he has a teammate playing. Here, Xenob. I found it. Xenob. It just has the tag differently, different color and behind. So Xenob is the teammate by Skugako. So yeah, they will be also easily in. But what would be the other two teams right now? We see that best of the rest, we see it sadly not here. Best of the rest is Soha. His teammate on 12. Good chances for them. And then we have CN. Godspeed door 7, so several teams basically. That could be on the 5th position. Mesa quite alone at the moment. Oh, that was too wide. I was early to see that this can't work out. We see that he has a 6 second gap to the next player in front, will be more. And he, even if he does this big crash in lap 10 out of 24, he does not get overtaken. So there are some big gaps already, definitely to see. Let's go a little bit with Skugako in the front. So far he is absolutely dominating. He has 6 seconds in front of second place. And then we see that Fatkit passed Benzo. So we have now the two 80 racing players on second and third. Would be the best scoring team after this race if they keep those positions. And if Xenob does not come all too close to others. Let's take the free cam in order to actually check out how the distances are. We see here Shadow just passed there. And then we see this 4-man battle between Sneaky, Fatkit, Benzo and Hacker. Then we see Zora, Sadloof and Joldy Sonic. And there comes Xenob. And here the next players coming up. So there is a huge gap. We see Mesa actually now behind 2 players. So maybe he would have a chance to catch up to them, but let's go a bit further ahead. Because we had here, for example, a team, a battle. Exactly. That's not super close so far. There's a gap between all those players. We saw that Sholty Sonic passed Sora at some point, and I said that he seems to drive a little bit risky, and probably he did a little mistake, as he's now finding himself almost 3 seconds behind Sora, and also with another player in between. So yeah, Sora known for driving quite consistent, playing those endurance races for long already. He did that also in United. Also there he was a good player, a decent player, always up for a nice performance in those races. And he continues with that in Canyon. Say that every league. He's really doing nice. And he also won some races already in open leagues. Always depends a bit on how much he prepares. But for Twisted Eagles, this is of course more of a fun event in general. So let's go a bit further here, because the closest battle is definitely here up in front. Currently it's basically just teammate versus teammate. But the AD Racing drivers are not all too far in front. And yeah, now they are trying to get together in front, maybe slipstream a bit. In order to catch up to FatKit. Sneaky got a little bit of a lead over his teammate, but his gap to Skugaku is very huge, 7.4 seconds. So it's getting bigger and bigger. That just shows that Skugaku is driving on another level, and definitely so far also consistent, and he could afford a mistake. Not the biggest one, but he could afford some mistake and still be ahead. Still having the chance to win. So Hacker now with the attack on his teammate. Both exactly side by side, 2000s apart from each other at the multi-lap line. Similar snap, but Benzo has a bit more exit speed. Oh, here Hacker with a much tighter approach. Benzo didn't get that snap all too well. Also here Benzo goes for a little bit wrong line, giving Hacker the better line for the exit in the end. So let's go with Benzo here. Such an easy looking 90-degree corner can also make huge differences. Benzo took a bit more speed out of it, but this was just a tiny thing. Here Hacker with the inside line stays ahead of Benzo. Increases his gap by a little bit, and now this drift-to-drift combination was a part that Hacker got pretty good last lap, and also now he gets it quite nice and gets nice exit speed for this part up to the off-road, and this is a problem for Benzo. Here he had to correct his line, had to save. He was not able to go for the snap because he was too much on the left side, too early left, and then he couldn't snap to the right, which means he has a much worse steering angle to the right. This is often a problem in Canyon. It can immediately get very close at the outside if there's a wall sticking a bit in, but he saved it quite nicely. He lost of course time towards Hacker, but it could have been worse. It could have been much worse than this. But yeah, now this fight is a bit gone for now. Hacker himself is catching up a bit to Haxe, overlapping him. But yeah, FatKit has some lead, and FatKit is seemingly a little bit closer to Sneaky. It's because Sneaky, it was just 7 point something seconds, and now it's already 9.7 seconds, so Sneaky must have lost another bit of time here. So I have the feeling he makes some mistakes, but he's still on second place because he's yeah, probably a bit faster than his teammate. Or is Skugaku really winning so much on them? But when you see the locals, they are not so far out of each other, like 3/10 between Skugaku and Sneaky in the locals. But it seems like Skugaku is able to drive much closer to his best time in a consistent way. We see that Hacker also improved his local now to 8th place with a 52.15. Hacker is really on a roll right now, overtaking his teammate, and he's definitely now having one good lap after another. If he continues like that, he maybe can catch up to FatKit. But there is not much time left. We are already in lap 18, as this map is quite short. This is quite quickly over. We see Cube there with a mistake, losing a lot of time. But yeah, 1.3 seconds for Hacker in 6 laps. I mean, it doesn't sound too much, 1.3 seconds. When you take the average what he needs to win per lap, it sounds not much, but it's just something with 2/10, a bit more. But it is so difficult in Canyon because the level is always so close together. And instead it is actually FatKit getting a bigger gap now to Hacker. And this will make it even more difficult now. There we see Gimpel. So let's go a bit with the leader. Compared to the Premier League, it's not so easy to find battles here. Because in the Open League, of course, some mistakes do happen and crashes can cost a lot of time. And then people are quite alone. I see that Mesa is behind Door by 1.2 seconds, but optically this will be also a huge gap still. But maybe this might be a fight later. We see that Cube gets under pressure from Sips. So maybe having a little look back there. We see Cube in front. All the other positions here that we can see on the left side and the back are a bit further away from each other. Jolty Sonic is a lap ahead. So we basically see exactly also now on track the positions that we can't see on the left, because Jolty Sonic is one of the guys on those positions, and Zed Loof. Oh, Subs with a mistake. Yeah, and we see that Sora is still ahead of them. Sora on the platform corner, they are ahead. Basically close together with his teammate Gimpel. Yeah? No. He already overlapped him. Sora is already far ahead. But yeah, Gimpel doing very well on 12th place. But the gap from him to 11th is huge. Half a minute. Half a minute. And he himself gets under pressure maybe from Cube and Sips. So, and Haxes. Oh, Haxe was close, I think, but it's not anymore. So this is some fight at least. Other than that, it's still in the front. FatKit is only a second behind Sneaky. But of course for the team it does not really matter too much for the points. Who gets second, who gets third. But that's just a personal thing, of course, that one teammate wants to be ahead of the other one. But Sneaky has the best chance here. If he does not make a mistake, he will probably stay ahead of his teammate there. And we also have Hacker in front of Benzo. Benzo just with a mistake, I guess, when I looked on the left side. So now it's 2 seconds between both, and Hacker also lost a lot to FatKit, so Hacker must have made a mistake, so that AD Racing is basically safe on 2nd and 3rd position. And Door on 4th and 5th. And probably the gap from Sora to the 2 guys ahead is quite huge. Yeah, we can see the Door players basically already in the multi-lap. Sora still has to do these last drifts and will reach the multi-lap now. He's driving 52.6 and his match PB is 52.5. So very consistent as it seems, and this is why he's on 6th place, but not all too fast when you see it at the locals. However, let's go with Shadow, because he is approaching now the very last lap. I didn't see any mistake by him. The gap mostly when I looked was getting bigger. Now at 11 seconds in front of Sneaky. So great performance by Skugako. And he will clock in a time that will be also interesting to compare with the Premier League when the Premier League plays this map. Some will beat it, but probably it would be a quite decent position in Premier League as well with this performance. So a few last drifts remaining. Keeping the drift here on the platform, going through the tunnel, and then we only have the wall right left. And this is the GG for Skugako. And now I have some time to actually place my camera right here. And then we see second place goes to Sneaky. And in front of his teammate Fatkid. Then Hacker and Benzo on the next two positions. And then we see Sora coming up. He takes 6th place in front of Sadloof, and then it takes some time for Jolty Sonic to arrive, but he's on 8th place. 9th goes to Zenob, so he improved a little bit in position. And all those others are still driving, because why not? There is still door coming up now. And then Mesa, this was close that I missed it. And then we have this fight here. Gimpel does have a good lead actually over Soup, and Soup's over to Cube. Oh Cube. Oh Cube. With a respawn. But Haxe is still far back. So Gimpel with a nice performance, getting 12th place. Soup's now finishing behind him. Was holding the pressure to let these guys not overtake him. And Cube didn't lose a position with this mistake in the ending, but he was in front of Soup's a few laps ago. So could have been a bit better, but still going okay with the 14th place in front of Haxe with his horn. And Schwitz for Smurf Team 5, as well as his teammate Opik. Damn, I actually should have skipped the horn, because now I can't upload to YouTube, because I had that once, that Haxe's horn was actually a problem for YouTube. And here we have Lex for Smurf Team 4. The last driver on the track, but also close to the finish now. And here he goes, and that is it with the Open League. GG. Who is between Benzo and Zenob? It was Sora, Setloof, and Jolty Sonic. So. Shadow drove F1 car v F2 car. GP2 engine at Sora. Oh, don't destroy your car, Sora. I just want to show it. Oh, he's gone. This is another version of the mode that Nadio tested. The follow me mode. With camera. Yeah. So. So that's it with the SCL Playday 1. Next week will be then the next Playday.